Hi everybody, my name is Dennis Smith. This is my wife Rhonda, and we have a 1965 Amphicar that we brought to this show, and this is the very first one we came to, and we are very pleased to be here. I've had it for about a few years. The previous owner that I bought it off of, he had a rubber mat in it. I did not like the rubber mat, so I had carpet done. It had vinyl. I still had the old vinyl, but I just put it up. But I had them done it in red crushed velvet. The seats are all pleated here, and I had it done on the doors. Like I said, we're glad to be here.
Hi, I'm Randy Bograd, and this is my wife Danielle Bograd, and we're from Gaithersburg, Maryland, about 500 miles from here. And we drove our Amphicar here for this event, and it was a pretty interesting drive, but a little spunky came through fine. I've had my Amphi almost 2 years. I bought it from somebody that had it for 20 years, did not restore it. He intended to restore it, and it sat for 20 years. So this is where we're at right now. Still got some work to do, make it look pretty, but we're getting there. You know, anybody that has an Amphicar knows it's a riot to have one. You're a local legend if you have one. Everybody's waving and screaming at you wherever you go, and we love it. We take it out almost every weekend in the Potomac River north of DC. And it's a fun car to drive on the water too. Don't ever tow your Amphicar on a tow dolly. We had quite an experience with that. So word of the wise, be sufficient here. That's why we ended up driving it here. Boy, you can't have anything but fun. This is how you spell fun is Amphicar.
Hi, we're Tom and Cindy Jones from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. It's a 1964 Amphicar that we've owned for 3 years. We did a ground-up restoration on it. We use it a lot around Madison Lakes, and giving rides is the most fun.
My name is Dan Borgman. I'm from Ocala, Florida. This is my 1967 Amphicar, my modified 1967 Amphicar. This is the fighting chair. You can sit up there, it swivels 360 degrees. You put your feet back on the deck there. You've got rod holders on each side. You sit there and reel in the big one. And one of my favorite improvements is the swim platform back here. I've always wanted to swim off my Amphicar, and this lets me get my feet wet.
John Bevins from Berthoud, Colorado. Here's the Amphicar extraordinaire. She's kind of become the known. I've had this car for 4 years. Spent 3 years on the restoration. I did everything myself except for the paint and body, and sewing the interior, but I put a kit in it. Pretty much by myself. The hand controls are in there, are my design. Didn't do those until after I'd already restored the car. It's kind of backwards, but it's a pretty good incentive to figure out how to drive it. Yeah. The way these work is the throttle is down, which operates a cam that pushes on the existing accelerator pedal. The brake is straight towards the floor, and there is a steel bar that runs from this handle straight to the brake pedal. So it's, but the difficult part was the clutch, which is here. This is a Harley handle attached to a Harley cable that goes to a power booster from a Geo to a master cylinder from an International pickup. So when you squeeze this, it operates that master cylinder, which pushes on a slave cylinder on the transmission to operate the clutch. And so now all the controls work by hand or by foot equally well. There's no difference.
Okay, hi, I'm Frank Carrion from Mount Sinai, New York. I've been a member of the Amphicar Club for 10 years. I'm the only member that's made all the meets from the first one to right now. I restored my car with the help of my friends at work that we worked together. We all had a little bit of a hand in it. And I don't know what else to say. I guess that's about it. You've seen one Amphicar, you've seen them all, right?
Hi, I'm Amphipata. I come all the way from San Diego to Celina, Ohio to join in the Amphicar swim-in. I'm here with all my amphibious friends, having a great time while my mermaid is at the bar. As you can see, California license plate, and we're having a glorious time here. Got my Amphicar about 5 years ago, changed my life considerably. I'm having so much fun. This is the first time we've shipped it out here, so we're living this weekend to the best.
Pues mi nombre es Hugo Gordon de la compañía Gordon Imports. Permíteme a presentarles nuestra familia de Amphicar dueños. I said, excuse me, permit me to introduce myself. My name is Hugh Gordon. I'm from the Amphicar Company, Gordon Imports, and I want to introduce you to the Amphicar family out here. And this is the Amphicar daughter. This is Shelley Christensen, who has been an Amphicar daughter for 20 years at Gordon Imports. And Gordon Imports has been a company for, gosh, how long now? Since 1980.
75?
Well, the company is Amphicar. Yeah, that long. It's amazing. And it's blossomed as the cars have come back. And it's all due to the owners because, you know, technology, the cost to make new parts, you have smaller number of cars. So each part costs more than it did the last time, and yet the customers are doing it. They've all come back. And there's about 2,500 Amphicars out there, of which around 1,100 are running. And of the, I would say of the 1,100, about perhaps 300 or 400 are like the cars that you see here. And the future never looked brighter. There's going to be more of the older cars coming back. And when you say that, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. In 1980, I needed personal parts for my own Amphicar. I was not in the Amphicar business. And I was over in Germany on business looking for regular parts for the business I was in at the time. And I asked about Amphicar parts, and I found in Holland, you wouldn't believe it, there were 1,000 transmissions lined up at this BMW dealership in Holland. And it was a guy named Bert Story, who was an Englishman whose family had immigrated from England to Holland, didn't speak one word of English. I speak Spanish, I speak German, but I couldn't speak in a salesman type way to try and convince him to get rid of his parts to us. And the guy was a phenomenal individual. He said, tell you what, Hugh, you buy a container load of Amphicar parts, give me a down payment, pay for it over a year or whatever it takes, and come back and get another load. And I did that for 18 years. Did nothing but constantly buy parts. Now we have those parts, and now we remanufacture new parts or buy them from the original sub-suppliers. So for all of us here, we can enjoy our Amphicars for the indefinite future.
We're James and Gloria Tiller from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I've owned this particular Amphicar since 1988. This year we just put a brand new interior in it we wanted it done for Celina. This is the highlight of the whole summer for us. But my husband is very involved with Corvettes, so we do Corvettes and Amphicars together, which is a very strange mix. Most of the Amphicars are owned by men and taken care of by men, and I'm one of the few Amphicar women owners. But Jim gets as much enjoyment out of it as I do. So we wouldn't miss Celina for anything in the world. We love our Amphicars and we love the Amphicar people.
Minnesota, let's hear it for Minnesota. Good luck, guys. Queen and her court. Queen and her court's gonna have a fun ride. Been 2 cars earlier. You'd have 4 girls sitting back there on the road. She's going real fast. Hey, hold on. What city? Sun Prairie. Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. 275 miles, folks. Let's hear it for another Wisconsin. There's no benefit when they come back out of the water. They would like you to ask them some questions. Again, the success of this is because you're here.
Mister, you're going backwards.
Billy 6, Mays Landing, New Jersey. You have a secondary latch on your door, and that's really a panic latch, but as the cars are old and deteriorated, they actually are very helpful to keep the doors very tight to keep the water from coming in. And engage your propellers and go. That's the whole point of the car, is to make this an easy transition. Excuse me, does that go on land? Which way is the interstate? I've definitely pushed the envelope because I've done things with my own cars that nobody else would do. For instance, taking my green car pretty far out into the Atlantic, not pretty far, but offshore in the Atlantic Ocean on a calm day, you know. I don't like to lose sight of land, though. That's about my limit as far as going in the ocean. And I use the back bays sometimes. The waves in the ocean, of course, lift you up pretty good, so they're not for the novice Amphicar owner. And the other side of the coin is going up and down the beaches. I did manage to get stuck on the beach. A big wave caught me and threw me on the beach, 12-foot wave. So there's definitely moments that you can get yourself in a lot stronger situation than these cars can really handle. But in general, they can go anywhere a small craft can, and then they have the land part too. So there are extremes. Due to the car being small inside and the interior being sparse, if you're in the car for a long time out in the hot sun and the water, you do get boater's fatigue and you do get tired just from being out there. The vibration, the sound, you can hear the engines roaring pretty good. So after you're out in the car for a few hours, you know, out in the water, you're kind of looking for a place to get out, possibly a bar to go to. Okay, exiting the water, you should know what your ramp is. Right now we have a little underwater dock situation here, so I know where the ramp is. That's what that little cement block is to mark it, okay? There's many ways you can approach your ramps, but mechanically, the only thing you really need to do is put the clutch in, put the land drive in first gear. When you let your clutch back out, both propellers and wheels are spinning simultaneously. And depending upon how you hit the ramp and how much gas you give it, is how smooth it'll come out of the water.
It's Tom Jones from Sun Prairie. Yesterday you interviewed me, but I have my little trailer with me. This is called a half amp. It was a Amphicar that was in a real bad fire and was all twisted and warped, and we cut it apart and built the trailer out of the front, and it floats, tows down the road fine. Underneath I got lots of room when you got one of these out. There's 2 coolers in there, my cleaning supplies, a couple lawn chairs, gas powered blender for mixing your smoothies, and still got a few little improvements to work on it. It floats good and everything.
So can you just drive right into the water?
Drive it right in the water with the trailer behind you, keep right on going. It's got a bilge pump in the floor, automatic bilge pump. Run the electrical wires from the car back to the bilge pump, and the brake lights and tail lights work. And thought it'd be kind of cool to have something extra this year and pull behind the car. Had the piece laying over and didn't know what to do with it, didn't want to throw it away, and it was too bad to make a car out of, so we cut it apart and built the trailer. Hello.
We're Mark and Elizabeth Schlemmer, and we're from Burlington, Kentucky, and we're up here in Celina for we're here for the 5th year. This is the 10th annual convention of the Amphicar Club, and we're here with our 1965 Amphicar. We restored it ourselves, did pretty much everything except the body work, put it all back together. Elizabeth is responsible for keeping it clean and looking good. She's the detail person. She hand stitched the interior and has done an awful lot of work keeping it good, and we have a lot of fun with it. We enjoy coming to the swim-ins and have a great time. Actually, I happen to be the president of the International Amphicar Owners Club, and myself and the other board members organize this event each year in Celina. This year we've had 61 Amphicars here all weekend. We've had a great time. We've had a lot of swimming, lots of time socializing. We're here at a swap meet today. We're going to have a banquet and dinner later on this evening. Really a great time.